Hey, welcome to Broken World Entertainment. And I don't know if many of you actually know this, but there's a brand new Quantum Leap TV series. Not just is there a brand new Quantum Leap TV series, it started the other day. I'm probably going to do a review on it. I'll probably watch the first episode, do a review, and then I'll see whether or not I keep going with it or not. As someone who loved the original, this one apparently is a follow-on series. So I do remember them talking about wanting to do a new Quantum Leap, and it was going to be all different people and stuff. Then that got shot down because they favoured bringing back Scott Bakula and Dean Stockwell to be Sam Beckett and Al. They wanted them back, and they agreed to come back apparently. And while it was taking its sweet time to get going, for stories to be written and all that good stuff, the unfortunate passing of Dean Stockwell happened. So that kind of went out the window, and they kind of refocused back to that. Let's do a new one. It was apparently supposed to be a reboot, but as it turns out, it's actually as much of a reboot that it kind of is. It's a follow-on series that they do mention Sam Beckett and Al and stuff. But Scott Bakula has revealed that he won't be appearing in this show. We don't know how well received this show will be. I'll have to try and look up what the viewing number... Well, actually, it's on Peacock, which I believe is streaming. So they probably don't give the numbers. So I don't know whether it'll go past one season or not. But anyway, Scott Bakula has revealed he voluntarily declined to reprise the role as Dr. Sam Beckett. So there's an article here that reads, after months of speculation on whether or not he'd be joining the sci-fi classic in making the leap back to television, original Quantum Leap star Scott Bakula has revealed that though he was offered the chance, he ultimately chose to pass on reprising his role as Dr. Sam Beckett for the recently premiered series Reboot. Making its debut on September 19th, and set 30 years after the events of the original, NBC's new Quantum Leap follows a new team of scientists led by Dr. Ben Song, and whose ranks include an older version of Herbert, Magic Williams, and Ziggy, AI caretaker Ian Wright, as they seek to restart the project and solve the mystery of Dr. Sam Beckett's disappearance. I think that's funny though. You see, it takes place 30 years after the original. Say, why did you wait 30 years to go looking for him? And it wasn't much of a mystery. They knew where he was. He he was quantum leaping, and he chose not to come home to continue doing it. So he never actually made a home, for anyone who never saw the original series. The premise, by the way, if anyone wonders what the premise was that he created this machine that was meant to leap you back in time, but it ended up, you replaced someone. You became someone in history, or pivotal points in time. And he had to fulfill their destiny. And if he succeeded, he would leap to the next person in the next timeline and whatnot. If he didn't, he'd be stuck there as that person. The problem was, all he wanted to do was try and get home. And that was why he kept leaping. He was trying to get home and never did. He never made a home. So this thing continues, saying, of course the bin man comes across right now. Unfortunately, the chances that this plot point will receive a proper resolution has now seemingly dropped closer to zero, as Bakula himself recently confirmed that he voluntarily declined the opportunity to take Dr. Beckett on a second round through the accelerator. Taking to his personal Twitter account on September 15th, he wrote, "To Quantum Leap fans around the world, in an effort to quiet the rumours and move on, first of all, thanks for hanging around through the decades. Here's the simple version of what's going on with the Quantum Leap reboot and me. I have no connection with the new show, either in front of the camera or behind it. In January, the pilot was sold and a script was sent to me because the character of Sam Beckett was in it. Which makes sense, right? As so, many of you have been asking me the last? Yeah, it says last. Oh, so sorry, that's why it goes into the next the last several months. How could you do Quantum Leap without Sam, or Al for that matter? Well, I guess we're about to find out. That's the story. As the show has always been near and dear to my heart, it was a very difficult decision to pass on the project. A decision that has upset and confused so many fans of the original series. However, the idea of anyone leaping around in time and walking a mile in someone else's shoes remains a very appealing concept and so worthy of exploration, especially given the current state of mankind. In that spirit, I am crossing my fingers that this new cast and crew are lucky enough to tap into the magic that propelled the original Quantum Leap into the hearts and minds excuse me, of generations past and present. I wish them good luck and happy leaping." And he signed it Sam Beckett. Or Scott Bakula. It's SB, so could be one of the same. So, the one thing with the new show is the cast is, of course, all diverse. We have the Asian guy playing, what was his name again? Ben Song. White woman who plays his wife, who's also the hologram, so she's taking the role of Al. Ernie Hudson is in it. He's apparently very good in it. And the Al caretaker is played by Mason Alexander Park, who people may remember as Noah from The Sandman, who's a transgender actor. I'm not sure whether it was a man that wants to become a woman or vice versa. It looks like a man, it sounds like a man, except it wears makeup and stuff. And they played Desire in Sandman, and they were in Cowboy Bebop, the live action, but I never watched that, so meh. So that was meant to be the real heavy focus. From what I'm hearing, it's not particularly that way. But one of the issues is, if that's the cast they have, it means they're going to be constantly jumping back to the future to them in the accelerator, working out where Ben went. Oh, by the way, Ben was not meant to be the one to go. A woman was meant to be the one that goes. I think it was meant to be the one who's his wife. Not sure. But the problem is, if they keep going back to the future to the likes of the Ernie Hudson character and the Mason Alexander Park character and stuff, that's not the way the original Quantum Leap went. It was very, very rare that you'd get an episode where you would go with Al, and it was only Al you'd go with back to 95. That was the funny thing actually about the original series as well. Sam Beckett would jump to like the 1940s and the 1920s and stuff like that. But the future he came from was 1995. So this is clearly then meant to be 2022. And I'm not sure how deep and kind of interesting the stories would be with this one, because the original series, like, Sam jumped into, you know, bodies of people who the stories were, quite tough. One of them was, this is actually my brother-in-law's favourite episode of Quantum Leap, was Sam jumped into the body of his brother while his brother was serving in Vietnam. And his brother had died in Vietnam, and he had to try now and survive. There was episodes where he jumped into, like, basically white supremacists. There was episodes where he jumped into black people during the civil rights movements. There was episodes where he jumped into drag queens. There was all these type of things. Stuff that, like, was really kind of shied away from. So it was really interesting like that. And I just don't know whether this new show will take that. Particularly if they just, if their whole kind of look how stunning and brave we are is our cast. Oh look, we have a few Asians and blacks and a transgender. Ooh, aren't we brave? So we'll find out. I'll give the first one a watch anyway. Probably do a review, but anyway, I'll leave it there for this one. Cheers. Catch you in the next.